from the distance, Ember. And of course, does Ember again. Hits him, you know what I mean? He's like, Squirtle. Of course, he sucks it up, but in the instance, of course, after effect recall, he gets burned. The burn hits, and it hurts him. And of course, he's like, what? What is that? And then that's when Spot's like, oh my goodness, that's the status effect from school, trainer school. Like, well, he's like, that's the status effect from school. Squirtle's burnt right now. And boom, you know what I mean? It's so funny though, cause and then Dad's just sitting there laughing. He's like, well, it ain't my Squirtle. Ha! Like, you know what I mean? Well, he's like, well, it ain't my Bulbasaur. And he starts laughing. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, it ain't my Bulbasaur. You know what I mean? And then, it kind of makes us laugh. And Taz sits there and stares, and he's like, school. In this instance. And then I say, blast, use growl. Of course, he does growl. And he's like, tackle. And in this sense, he does tackle while he feels the burn again. And then Taz is like, oh man. He's like, He's like, you're taking damage, buddy. I know we won't last this long, if we keep this up. And of course, Spot's over there. She actually sticks up for me, and she's like, should have got a burn heal. And Taz is like, what did you say over there? And it just shuts her down, and she's scared. And she's like, nothing. She's like, nothing. Go stuffing. And then it's like, scratch. Of course, boom. Of course, in this instance, it pumps Blast up, and Blaze triggers again. He dodges the tackle after doing the scratch and all that too. Practically, and then in that same sense, when she says go stuffing, of course, Flames is like, yeah, turn. Blah blah blah. So all that happens all in that sense also. Tell him to do scratch again. Of course, he's like, Squirtle, we need to dodge it. Dodge it. He dodges it. Of course, it being his Squirtle, he does tackle. Of course, Blast is relaxed. He takes the hit while he feels the burn, of course. And then I just tell him, let's finish this Blast. Ember. Tries Ember, and of course, Taz says, dodge it. He dodges it. But ends up getting recalled by the burn, and he's super exhausted. So then it's like down to the peak moment, and it's like, boom, what's gonna happen next? And of course, I'm like, okay, Blast, try to go inside, attack, and scratch. And of course, he scratches while Squirtle's exhausted. And Squirtle doesn't move, because of the burn. The burn lowers his attack also, which is known. Like, burn lowers the opponent from hurting you more also, because they're continuously getting hit with the burn. So it was a double advantage when the growl kicked in. Kind of makes the Pokemon scared of the fire type even more, because it gets hit with the burn, it feels the burn afterward, and it's just like scared to hit the fire type because it doesn't want to get burned again, but it can't avoid the burn until it's burnt healed. So of course, Blast gets his HP boosted. He looks back at Flames and gets massive encouragement and boost, and he says, Blast, gained a level. And of course, it beat Taz. Taz is pretty shocked, and he's like, oh, you just lucked out. And it's, Of course, Daz recorded it all. Or Kaz. Of course, he's like, I'll give it to you. I'll give you respect. Like, he's giving us respect. He's like, I'll give it to you, Stefan. Gives me a handshake. And of course, he says and states, it's like you just lucked out. It's like, I'll give it to you, Stefan. You just lucked out. Boom. He's like, ah. He's like, you know what I mean? Ah. You know what I mean? Handshakes. He's like, I'll give it to you, Stefan. You just lucked out, though. I mean, I'll give you that one, Stefan. Boom. That ends up happening. And everybody's like, wow, that's awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And of course, Dad, he pops up and he's like, we all got to learn. Like, he's like, look at the bright side. We all got to learn together the effects of a burn. And of course, everybody starts laughing and all that stuff. And then, Taz actually embraces and feels the moment of us all being together. And it's like one of the linking, breaking moments. And he's like, you're still my rival, but I'll keep an eye on you. You know what I mean? It's like, take care of my siblings. But besides that, I heard the Pokemon League's crawling with tough trainers. I have to figure out how to get past them. We should quit dwindling and get a move on, though. And he just walks away. And in that instance, of course, what ends up happening is, all the guys are like, wait, I want to come with you, and everything. And of course, they end up leaving with them. And it's just me and the girls. And they're just like, fine then, we'll stay with Stefan, and we'll see you guys later. I hope we see you guys later. We just continue. So of course we continue through this route, and as it seems, I didn't get bothered. Oh yeah, I also forgot. Before I go any further, in that sense, before he really dips off, I forgot. I got too excited. I had it like 5 minutes ago. I got too excited. Everybody's like, okay. It pumps up everybody. And they're like, let us battle. Like, let's battle ourselves. Of course, they end up battling. So Taz ends up sitting back and watching everybody battle. So, he didn't leave yet. That was my fault. I wasn't supposed to do that. That is the fault I'll take. Now, if the developers can accept that and they just redo it, that'll be cool. Because I'm not resaving it. It was 2 texts. Like, period. Like, that means I'll have to redo that whole battle. That battle's not going to be the same. You know this. So, I'll take my fault on that. There's so much I'm still remembering, and that I still have to continue to have into the process, so that shouldn't even be a big deal. But, of course, Spot and Kaz step up. Of course, Flames was already out, so, of course, he sends out a Pidgey for some reason, but I'd say, in the same sense, they caught Pidgeys also. And they were training them. I don't know. Right now, it makes things way more confusing, but yeah. That ends up happening. In this same sense, that does end up happening. I'll take the fault for this. It can be a big deal to me, or a big deal to everybody. But what really happens is, secretly, the grandsons did catch Pidgeys earlier in the game, and they had their time away from us. And secretly, when they were away, they were training their Pidgeys. And they were thinking that For some reason they all, they think alike, but they're thinking that they would all have Pidgeys and they would impress Taz in having one. So when he sent his Pidgey out, of course it caught all their attention. Now what ends up happening when Kaz battles Spot is he's like, it's time for me to send out my secret weapon. And boom, He's like, now that you have two Pokemon, you know what I mean? So now it's time for me to send out my secret weapon. Now it kind of makes sense and makes better calmness. Then everybody be like, oh yeah, you fucked up. So, like I said, the profanity will be there. But, of course, she's like, your secret weapon, of course. Boom. He pops it out. And Taz is like, I have to see this. And of course, he says it to a sneak tip to his brother, which is kind of interesting because Taz is beside us now. And makes TV series even better and interesting, too. Or a movie. And he's like, let's see if your Pidgey's stronger than mine. And Kaz is like, you bet it. You bet it is. And he's like, my Pidgey's modest. And bam. And then, of course, Taz is like, my Pidgey is relaxed. Of course, as it was when he battled Blast. And of course, she tells off rip, she's like, well, I'm not holding back. Flames, Ember. Of course, she does Ember packs and hits Pidgey really well. Does a good, significant amount of damage. Of course, hits really well. And, of course, with his Pidgey being modest, it makes him think, like, in consideration, like, his Pidgey starts moving around and thinking in consideration and viewing Flames like, okay, Flames is a tough opponent, because that's what most modest Pokemon do when they get hit, bro. So, practically for Flames being a mom of, being a female, she's smart. She's a smart female of a Charmander, because when she gets hit, well, she goes against her opponent, which it should show in the anime with more further episodes and battles. As you see, she tells her to do Ember one more time to take him down, and then of course he goes down. He's like, Of course, he's like, good job. He's like, good hit. And then Taz is like, the battle's not over yet. And of course she's like, And she looks at Taz and she's like, secret weapon, And then the other guys are like, like, and they got sweat marks on their heads. But then, as it is, what would be in the further tense, though, back to it is, when she gets hit, of course she analyzes, like, it will show her, like, analyzing her opponents when they battle, when it's an actual movie scene series, and, she actually analyzes her opponent when if it hits hard, like, she's like, okay, this is a tough opponent, I'm gonna have to hit it hard, or I'm gonna have to have my defense straight, I'm gonna have to brace the next hit,